Have you ever considered what it's like to immerse yourself in a sound bath? Well, today I have you covered. Join me as I invite 3 guests to dive into the unique experience of a sound bath and spill all the details on the afterbath. Welcome to the Afterbath, where we explore unique experiences and wellness practices. I'm your host, Matt. Today we have a special episode where we'll be diving into the world of sound baths. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be immersed in soothing sound waves, you're in for a treat. Join Loretta, Trish and Shell as they share their journey since completing their 6th sound bath course. Today we'll be exploring what they have learned, how it has shaped their lives, and the real question, has it been smooth sailing, or has life thrown some curveballs to test them? Let's stick around and find out what's really going on beyond the veil of inner peace. Welcome.
Thank you, and welcome to you all.
Yeah. So we've got Trish, Loretta and Shell, and we've all come back for a round table after how many weeks? I think, Shell, you were the first, so...
Test bunny number 1, August.
How long a gap has it been now for you?
When did I finish them? Oh, I know when I finished them. It was right at the end of October.
Right,
it would have been October 25 to be exact.
Okay. So then we had, what is that, about three months?
That's about 3 months ago, yeah.
Got it, okay.
So I'm the furthest along in the process, and Loretta's...
The youngest one.
The youngest.
Just finished 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was about that, wasn't it? Yeah. And then Trish?
I'm the middle child.
Yeah.
Literally in life and in this process.
Oh my gosh, well, I'm the firstborn.
Middle child.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm the baby.
Oh.
Yeah.
Privileged position.
Yeah, it's a good place to be in life.
Yeah.
So, who would like to describe their journey since their last sound bath? Who would like to go first?
I can.
Yeah.
It's been a great journey. It's been a really fruitful journey.
Yeah.
So there's been, so many moments we were discussing earlier, that the sound baths were they're like a reminder in my life of how, simplicity in the way we frame life really helps out.
Yeah.
They're a reminder of the boundaries that, that shouldn't be crossed, because what's the point?
Yep.
And so they were really fruitful from that perspective. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does that jog anyone to say anything? So
yeah, who would...
Yes. Well, we were just saying before we started, on reflection, it helped create a form of therapy in a way that forced me to be reflective. And I started taking notes during that time. And I did notice I was able to see myself in my little world and how I do my thing, my patterns in life. And I think the process of coming here each week for those 6 weeks allowed me that structured perspective that I was able to zoom out and watch myself repeat and repeat and repeat those patterns that I was attempting to change. Prior to the sound bars, I was attempting to change whilst in it, not seeing it. The sound bars allowed for a different overview. So to zoom out and have that perspective, I can see what I'm doing here now.
Yeah.
So just on that level, that metacognitive level alone helped me reframe. And it was the 3rd week that I noticed the biggest change. That reframe worked.
same.
I thought it would be the 4th, based on life story interviewing process of the same sequence.
Yeah.
But for this, I agree, it was the 3rd.
The 3rd, definitely. The
Fascinating.
3rd. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And that's kind of like, it's almost like that. The 3rd is always the give for some reason. In my mind, it's always like that's what just gives you what you're asking for. So the first one is like, oh, this is fun, this is really good. The second one is, oh, that was, it actually is really, really nice. And the third one is, this is why you're doing it.
Yeah.
This is what you can get out of it.
Yes.
Well put. Yeah. I feel the same way.
Yeah. So,
And then it gets serious.
And then it gets serious.
Yes.
And
got
then,
very deep.
Yes, it gets deep. And then by the fifth one, it's like you're right into it. You're really gaining, all
Insights.
that momentum. And then the sixth one, you're like,
Yeah.
And there you go, does it really have to end? Can't we just keep doing this? But that's what you talk about, Loretta. You talk about it becoming part of your wellness routine as something as important as, I was listening to your last podcast with Loretta, as important as a daily meditation, as important as having a shower or brushing your teeth every day, and eating good food or doing exercise on a daily basis. A sound bath's just got to be incorporated somewhere within that program as a top-up cleansing process. It doesn't have to be every day. You can't be here in your studio every day, but maybe
you're welcome to if you want.
Thank you.
Yes. And I was having to make notes on a more on a different level as well. So I was needing to manage cortisol. Cortisol for me is my kryptonite. Yeah. And I hadn't put the two together, funnily enough, that, I do exercise, but exercise for me was helping with that cortisol. Yeah. Trying to keep a better way of managing stress, but it wasn't sinking in that something like the sound bath became part of the therapy in terms of managing that cortisol. It wasn't just, go to the GP and have your cortisol levels checked and then work out how to deal with it. It was like, yes, this is how you do cortisol. You have a time for relaxation. You have time for a walk in a beautiful area like your favourite park, or you have time where you can just chill out. I think we've become so focused on regimenting things and becoming productive and making sure we're ticking through those lists that's become the priority, as opposed to the other things that make you actually feel relaxed and happy and content in different parts of your life. So it was a big lesson that this has to become part of a routine that helps manage cortisol. It's just basic as that. So on a hormonal level.
Well, it's really interesting that you mentioned cortisol, because I've had a big problem with it in recent months. And what I didn't know, and I won't go into it in too much detail, so I will burst out crying. It still affects me a lot. But I didn't realise it at the time. But when the sound bath started, something was also happening in one of my workplaces that was highly stressful and very, very distressing. And my cortisol levels were just going absolutely through the roof. And I'm not past it yet. I'm still medically dealing with it, where I'll have these, I think I'm together, and then all of a sudden I'll just fall off a cliff and I'll have these massive energy losses, and it's cortisol management. The cortisol is just trying to keep me together. And then it says, I've just given up. I'm giving up now. I haven't got anything left. And whoosh, and I'll just have to sleep or I'll burst out crying. And the scenario that I was going through at exactly parallel to when we were doing the sound bath, so it was honestly godly timing. I don't think I would have got through it. I don't think I would have medically or mentally got through it without these oasis pockets that were the sound baths. And I didn't know I was a proverbial frog in the pot, where the temperature was going up, cortisol was going up as well. No relief, no way to get out of the situation, and just this build-up of tension and stress and literally trauma. Looking back at that exact period of time, I realised that every sound bath was scheduled just when I needed it, and what it provided was actually it was a removal.
Like an escape.
So rather than being, because I do network care, which is a type of chiropractic, no crunching, it works on the meridians and it releases a layer of stress off your nervous system, so it works on the parasympathetic nervous system. I think they're two different ones, but you know what I'm talking about. What the sound bars did was, yes, it does work there too, but I liken it to literally being removed from the situation, pulled out of that traumatic situation that I was in, and said, I'm just going to give you a little island to be on for a little while where it's all peace, it's all calm, it's all healing, it's all love, it's all breathing. I'm going to feed you mangoes and chai, dandelion chai, and calm you right down before you have to go back into that situation. And I think if I didn't have that literal removal from it those 6 times, 7 actually when I did the tandem one, God knows what would have happened. I mean, I'm pretty messed up as it is, but I don't think I would have coped at all. Yeah, I think it would have been a lot worse. So that's what the sound baths did for me. Yes, cortisol management, but also, rather than a practice that helps me deal with daily life, it removed me from daily life to give me respite.
Yeah. Yes.
Very beautifully put.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, sound baths are like a friend.
Yeah.
It's like a friend to remind you how much you're loved.
Yeah.
And it's a good way of, like, it's not going to be the be all and end all, like all things. It has healing has to come from the inside out. So this is a beautiful way of giving you that, giving you that space, that little island to escape to.
And nurturing your nervous system. You know, when you're really strung out and you've got that stress going on and it hasn't had a break, it's just such a nurturing environment to just say, we'll soothe this. Those sound waves that float through your system, they're just saying, oh, thank God we've got a break from all the stress.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel the nurturing side of it did for a good length. So was it an hour that we would sit in there?
Yeah, about an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, good amount of time just to have that that break.
Yeah, because, I mean, the sound bath, the sounds that come out of those bowls is just beautiful, but it's what you do with them that matters most. So that power is within ourselves. So you can hear them, and some people just don't hear them. But the beautiful thing is that you know that power is within you, that you're doing it, that the sound isn't doing it, but you're doing it because you're extracting everything out of that sound. So.
That's it.
Can I disagree?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
It's an individual thing. So 100%.
So where I do agree with you is I think we as human beings just don't know our own power. I think we just don't know the depth of our inner resources in terms of our spirit or whatever you want to call it. So in that respect, I 100% agree with you. But I actually found the opposite was true here, that no matter, and this was my first or second interview, I already have a prayer and meditation practice, which I deepened after coming back from India. It was 10 or 15 minutes most mornings, went to this, I call it spiritual boot camp retreat. It was not fun. Got raked over the coals by a nun and said, you need to be doing at least an hour of prayer every morning. I was like, anyway, I was very prescriptive and beaten over the head. But I took the message of it, which was, you really need a bigger chunk of this in your life on a daily basis. What you're talking about, the meditative practice, those mindfulness practices to be worked into your daily routine. So I upped it to at least an hour, and I do that most mornings. And for me, it's the same as going to the gym, going for a walk. I have to get that exercise in at least every 2 days, otherwise I feel wrong. I just feel like I'm not in tune anymore. However, still having that 1 hour or more each morning. In my first or second interview, I said I just feel like I'm not making breakthroughs, and I think it was maybe because I was really super curious about what you're doing with the bowls. Why is it having an effect? What is it you're doing that gets me to just let go at a certain point? Because I've got a freaking monkey mind, you know, and I'm a thinker and I'm a researcher and I'm an event manager, so it's like all the tabs are open, and logistics, I can do logistics, so you just got to have it all going. But even when I'm not at work, it's still all going. And the to-do list is like new to-do. So at a certain point with the sequence that you go through, it lets go. It just lets go. So I asked, I wasn't getting anywhere with my own practice. I feel like I wasn't making progress. And by the second, or maybe it was the third, I forget, I was asking, if you can't make the inner breakthrough, if you can't use the power within, can something external change your thoughts? If I can't raise the level of my thoughts and sense of inner well-being through my inner practice, can an outer practice help me get there? And I found that it did. It was an outside assistance. It was the outside assistance that I needed where I felt stuck in my own practices. And it gave me a level of relief that I could not manufacture, cultivate, generate on my own. So I see both points of view.
Yeah, and I suppose that's, you know, totally legitimate, because I suppose everyone presents in a different way. Everyone's got different, you know, mindsets, different experiences, different backgrounds, different. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's at least the way I see it is that if you can squirrel yourself away in a cave, it's all inside you, and you can tap into it. So if you spend 10 years, 20 years, 50 years in a cave by yourself, just doing practices, you could reach that. No worries at all. And you wouldn't need any outside assistance. But most of us people don't have a life like that. So to have someone who can give you a hand, can greatly assist. So that's just the thing, you know, like we just don't live in a world where we can have enough time to defrag our brain. It's because of just
it's just constant.
The constant nature of...
There's just so much noise that you can listen to it's not a choice, but, you know, at the end of the day, it is a choice, but there's so much to look at, so many things, so many directions, so many opinions, so many events. And so, this sort of helps to shut down that noise.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you can, depending on the person, depending on where they are on the path, because, you know, like if you're very new to the path, it's going to be a lot of mischief. And if you're farther down the path, it's going to be a lot easier, that's for sure. So so it's not a one-size-fits-all, that's for sure. And so I always think you got to do inner work by yourself, and also if you can have some assistance, that can help you along the path as well. So both is really useful.
Thank you for the assistance.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Definitely. And especially from a non-meditator. I've never really meditated.
Yeah.
And it's only from this process that I've actually become aware that I do need to start this.
Yeah.
Because it opened up a way of thinking that had to stop my consistent chattering brain and all those open tabs on that sort of person. So it did give me such insight, and it did make a actual shift in my thinking.
So good.
Yeah.
So
the meditation aspect is like most important.
Yeah, because that brings like you said, the awareness that brings that that clarity. That you could be in a place where you're so inundated with everything that you're not aware that you're not aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's usually the issue most people are in.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, I'm good. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty good. But it's until you have either a breakdown or you become really aware that you go, oh, yeah, maybe I'm not as good as what I first thought. But yeah, when things are constantly flying at you so quickly, it can take quite a bit for you to go, oh yeah, I really aren't aware. Yeah. So yeah, generally, when people have a full breakdown, then they go, oh yeah, okay, I'll give up. Then they start to become more aware. Oh yeah, I'm not coping. But yeah, you generally have to get into a lot of mischief for that. For that to become apparent, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the awareness, you can't harp on it enough, because if you're not aware, then you don't even know you need outside help. Like the second you become aware that it's like, I don't want this for myself, that's when you start to, employ things like this. This is when you start listening to that friend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's got to be a better way.
There's got to be a better way than this.
Yes.
Some people just keep going on that, thinking, oh, it'll change, not being aware that they're not in a good place. Whereas you became aware that you were not in a good place and you wanted something better for yourself.
I was desperate to change. At the beginning of August, when you offered this to me, Matt, it was just this marrying up with my soul. I was desperate for change. I really wanted things to be different, but you got to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, you can get the whole
on the bumpy
full course.
Bumpy ride now.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about that.
I rather not.
That's okay.
Yeah, I might do that offline, but it's still very traumatizing, and I will burst into tears.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So we don't need details.
Yeah, I don't want to burst into tears. Yeah.
But
and I'm going through a process at the moment. I really ought to not talk about this on air out of respect for the process, and because I will just break down. Yeah. But I went through some trauma and an abuse situation.
Yep.
During the same time as the sound bars, and I'm coming through that. What that has done is it's churned everything up in terms of old patterns. Old patterns that I thought I had mastered. I thought, you talk about habits.
Yep.
There are habits of daily routines, there's habits of thinking, but there's also emotional habits.
Yep.
There's addictions to certain types of behaviour even within myself. I think you talked about in your last interview about being addicted to you said it, being addicted to thinking.
Yep.
So Loretta actually made me aware that potentially I was addicted to a certain emotional way of being, I think it was people pleasing, that kind of thing. And I honest to goodness thought that I was over that. I thought I had more self-esteem than that.
Yeah.
I thought I was more robust than that.
Yeah.
But through this awful situation, I've realised that's actually deeper.
Yeah.
But it's getting rooted out. And it's a very difficult process to go through. It does make me cry. It makes me shed a lot of tears over this. I've had a number of nightmares, done a lot of time shaking and quivering and all sorts of yucky things that go along with that process. But I think that I was so wanting to change, I just didn't know what it was, and this is what it was. That it's coming out, it's coming to the surface now, it's coming to the light, and it's going to get flushed out now. And that pattern will stop. It will never be repeated again. That's the hope anyway, because I am doing the hard work that goes with making myself a different, better me.
Yeah.
More robust me, more resilient me, more self-assured.
Yep. Yeah.
That's as much as I can tell you about it without crying.
Yeah.
So.
That's enough. Yeah, that's enough.
No more attention on me, please.
Yeah. At least from what I've found for myself is that once I learn a new skill, then there's a little test.
Oh, yeah, I got the test.
Yes.
Got one hell of a test.
And it's during that, once you've learnt the lesson, that you think, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, let's test you out.
Yeah.
Back to high school.
Yeah. Let's just see how good you are at that. And at the time, it can be frustrating or humiliating or whatever it is. And it can take, sometimes days or maybe, in the best case scenario, minutes. But it eventually subsides. Yeah, it can take months as well. Yeah, but generally, because you're doing the work, it takes less time. So if you're not doing the work, it can take years, potentially lifetimes.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the work, it can take minutes, hours, days. But then, you come out the other side and you go, oh, wow, look at me. I threw that one off. That was good.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I still find, if I have a entanglement with someone and a bit of mischief starts happening, I'll find that I'll need to have 2, 3 of the same before I go, oh, okay. All right, next time I see this person, don't give them your opinion. Just listen and nod and smile and accept whatever's coming at you and just see what happens. And, sometimes there can be a breakthrough if you don't show resistance to someone else. They're like, oh, okay, I'm being heard. Not always the case. Some people are oblivious. But at least you won't get your feathers ruffled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's power in silence.
Yes, there's power in silence. Yeah. Opinions, not so good.
It's tempting though.
It's tempting.
It's so tempting.
It is tempting, but
it's tempting.
But opinions are they can fly whichever direction from whoever can say them, but they don't make a difference. No, because if you're saying it to someone who's resisting them, then you're just wasting.
Yeah, you're
wasting your own emotion. Yeah, it's just your ego.
It's your ego.
Yeah, and it's just like the more you power emotions to somebody, you're not actually powering emotions to anybody. You're just powering them back to you.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling angry towards someone, or resentful, you think you're exerting it onto them, but it's coming straight back at you. So so you ingest all of that, and it stays inside of you. Like it doesn't, unless you release it or have another kind of vocab in your mind, and let it go quickly, because otherwise that sets a momentum of whatever's going on. Then you're just going to store it inside of you, and that's never good.
No.
So,
unsolicited opinions can actually be another form of abuse.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Generally they are.
Yeah.
Generally they are.
And then you can take it as abuse, or you can do that thing where you just that's not entering my body. So they're just opinions. At the end of the day, they're just opinions. It's not a fact. It's not a,
it's just another thought. Here, I've got a thought.
There's a thought. It's just a thought. Yeah.
I'm going to throw it out. I'll see if you can agree with me.
Yeah. And usually, whether you like it or not, you're attracting that.
Yeah.
Because you're in it. And so it's up to you to put the shield up and just say, I don't accept that for myself at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I know who I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, if you could see everyone as a little kid, instead of seeing everyone as adults, like if a little kid calls you a name, you're just like, oh, you're just obnoxious. You're still learning. That's okay.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when it comes from an adult or someone you admire, you go, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah.
Why did that hurt so much?
Do I see truth in it?
Yeah.
And if you do see truth in it, well, that's a good thing, because then it's for you to just like work on and say, oh, thanks very much.
Yeah.
Like if you see, you don't have to admit it to that person.
No.
But you can just go, okay, thanks very much. I'll sit with that for a bit and see how I can fix that, or, unwind the pattern, or, the beliefs I have around it, and just, give yourself some love and learn from it and move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
They'll move on from it, so...
Yeah. I think sometimes where the ego finds it hard is that when you get advice from someone who you haven't appointed a teacher.
Mm. That's true.
So I haven't appointed you my teacher.
Yes.
So coming from you, that's a slight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but teachers are everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
They're even in children.
Yeah, the teachers are everywhere.
Mm.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't appointed them.
That's right. That's right. So, it's just the ego. You just keep bumping up against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the ego is so big and so, fragile and silly.
It's silly. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what the sound baths taught me, is that it's the feeling that comes from inside, not the opinions or the words. It's not words or thoughts. It's a feeling. So,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, keep connecting to the feeling.
To the feeling inside. And the feeling inside is love. Everything else doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
It literally doesn't matter. So if someone's throwing in, abuse at you, it's for them. Like if you're not accepting it, then it's going to go out into thin air and that's it.
Yeah.
But if you accept it and go, oh, that really hurt me, then, you're ingesting it. Well, just block it out.
Yeah, that's right.
It's hard to do because we're human and we're feeling, we've got emotions. So, but...
Yeah. I guess if...
work in progress.
If you're not attached to what they're saying, as you're not trying to garner something out of it, I want you to, if you're going to learn something, then you want the person who's teaching you to praise you. Oh, you did a good job. But, if you're going to learn from someone, you really don't care whether you're doing a good job or not. You're just enjoying the experience.
Yeah.
Whatever they say is like, that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's good or bad, Yeah.
Whether you're failing or succeeding.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Yeah. Cool. That's useful. And, I'm just enjoying the experience. Yeah. I think it's fine to fail. Totally fine to fail.
We need to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to fail. It's totally fine. Yeah, it can be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me. I'm failing yet again.
Yet again. I did it again.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, who's going to care?
No one cares.
Or in 50 years, who's going to care that you just failed or that you just stuffed up or you said something stupid or...
Yeah.
It gives so many insights.
It does.
It gives such a good step up into your learning about things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
It's such a powerful thought to know that, I can fail, but that's fine because I can fix it, and that's so good.
Yeah.
That there can be so much enjoyment out of fixing things and growing out of them and expanding and becoming a better version of yourself. There's so much joy in that because it's like, I've succeeded in finding joy again out of that situation.
Yeah.
So.
And if you fail, you can always try again.
Exactly.
Yeah, just keep doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then when you succeed, you'll go, great. I'm not sure if I feel much different. Just another thing. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about that more in depth. It came up in one of our interviews, and that was my ice gurgling.
Yep.
Probably picked it up on the microphone.
No, that's
Is why do you have such a happy response, happy relationship with failure?
Yeah.
And why do you even term it that? Whereas I
Yeah.
would just term it as trying things out
Yeah.
and it not working the way you had expected it to, but you have actually termed it failure, and you have a very positive, healthy relationship with it. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm always surrounded by failure because I'm a teacher.
Oh.
So I'm constantly watching people fail. And
Not just try?
Yeah. Or you can call it, you can term it anything you like. It's just in our social norm, we call it failure.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you can see it on a small child's face when they're attempting to play a chord and they get frustrated and they're internalising some form of failure, whether they're actually saying, oh, I'm failing, or I'm getting frustrated, or this is too hard, or this is dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably more like it. This is so dumb.
This
Why
is
am I even
dumb.
doing this?
I think it's good to have a giggle at it. It's good to look at things, good to look at an obstacle and struggle and have a giggle at it and go, wow, look at me. Look, I'm getting all hot over, and, I could be looking at the ceiling and going, I'm just failing at looking at the ceiling. I'm no good at it. And, it's really no different to, trying to play Bach. It's just what you attach to Bach, or, looking at the ceiling. I mean, if there was an Olympic sport which was ceiling watching, then people would be traumatised by it. Yeah.
I'd be really good at it, actually. I'd be amazing.
Champion.
Yeah, I would.
Why would you be good at ceiling watching?
Because it's fun. It's like you see all the crevices and the
There you go.
You're a girl
You
for
see a lot of-
detail.
Yeah, you see a lot of things because that will lead you to another thought and another thought.
You're so right. Actually, it's a mindfulness practice.
It
We could
is.
make that a thing.
Yeah.
And I found that boredom's actually a really
It's a-
necessary
Yes.
part of our existence, because that's when we go on a mission to find something for stimulation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in that search for stimulation, we fixate on something, and then we see the detail and the beauty of the detail and the innovation that's possible.
There's no resistance. There's no resistance whilst you're just doing nothing, just watching. That's when thoughts come to you, like weird thoughts. It's like, where did that come from? I'm watching the ceiling. How am I?
I'm watching the ceiling.
Yeah, and that's, I love it.
Yeah.
And we've pushed boredom away. We've really filled in our days so much that we no longer have much boredom, much space for boredom.
And that's where the phone is.
Oh,
or
it
the
fills those
computer
gaps.
It fills every moment. You look in any waiting room, any bus stop, any train station, anywhere someone has to sit, they will use up that gap with stimulation. And it's such a dopamine hit each time. It's addictive. We're getting addicted to the dopamine hit of constant stimulation. And there's that cortisol that you talked about earlier is constantly being hitched up. Where I make a deliberate practice now of one, not watching the news, because that brings up, it hypes me up. But also, if I'm sitting at a train station or a doctor's waiting room, I'll go back to what it was like back in the day, prior to phones, and I'll people watch.
Yeah, same.
It's like looking at the ceiling and looking at all of the
the detail.
or if I'm in a I'm at a cafe, I won't pick up the phone unless there's something I really want to listen to, like your podcast, for instance. I'll watch the dynamics of the staff, the operations. I will have a look to see what other people have ordered as their food item, and I think, wonder if I want that. There's so much benefit in casual observation without the dopamine hit, and it's really quite calming and it's fascinating. I was walking down Warrandyte River Walk and watching the ducks and watching the other birds and the dogs and the groups of people, what types of people were out there. That's the effect.
Yeah.
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 Whereas I could be on the phone, I could be looking through the social media scroll, and I'd be afterwards, even if it's something that's been really interesting, because I freaking love YouTube. I love YouTube. I'm passionate about all the things that you can learn on YouTube. But I can come out of it going, rather than duck watching.
Yeah, exactly. And then the two, which one would you choose for yourself?
And there's also something in the interface, or the lack of interface. So whenever there's an interface of even a telephone, anything that's a medium, when that medium is removed and it's just, I suppose, your energetic field or the humanness of you interacting with the duck, the atmosphere, the other people, it's entirely different. There's just a naturalness about it. Something about the organic nature of feeling the interconnectedness is calming.
And the fullness of your senses.
The fullness of your senses,
We reduce,
absolutely.
we pull that up, and
you got it. That's what it is.
We pull it down to just that rectangle.
And we're putting the blinkers on. With a horse with the blinkers
tuning
on.
it all down to that.
With a mission, even when there's no mission.
Yeah.
What is the mission of looking here? The mission, I think, is to dull our senses, to find some sort of calm respite in being away from all of that. But if it's tuning out, but you can tune in as long as the environment is a positive one, or at least a neutral one. It's actually giving more to me than it's taking. Yeah. So I make a deliberate practice of just putting the phone aside, looking at the ducks, looking at the other birds. One day there were these young men dive bombing from a rock, and I thought, people living life, actually enjoying life, connecting with each other and with the elements.
Oh yeah, when I'm with the grandkids, phone goes away, and we're in their world.
In their world,
which is just this constant rolling play of, that's grabbed my attention, I'm playing over here, and now I feel like jumping on the trampoline, and being in their flow is a beautiful, immersive, full sensory situation.
A few years ago, some camping friends took me out into a very remote desert out in Western Australia, Bungles. We were 3 weeks camping in nature. I didn't wash for 10 days. That's a whole other story. Just bathing in rivers, bathing in rock pools, that sort of thing. It was really interesting. No phone, there's no reception. And no caffeine either. I couldn't have a cup of tea in the morning. Anyway, 3 weeks out in the desert. When I came home, my best friend saw me walk in the door, and she said, "There's something different about you." She said it was as if this veil of fear had been removed from my self, my aura, my outside persona. She says, "You look brighter." If that's what nature and interconnectedness with my friends, interconnectedness with nature and the stillness of it could do for me in just 3 weeks, that it could remove a veil of stress and fear that it was visible to someone. Can you imagine if we all did that for a week and just put down, switched off television, switched off phones, switched off from the devices, and popped ourselves in a desert oasis, which could be a sound bath, because that is a removal. And we all did that for a week. Oh, we'd all be breathing much more deeply from our tummies. We'd be disconnected from the umbilical cord of that fear gets pumped into us, and adrenaline gets pumped into us through this constant hitting of, you've got to do this and you've got to learn that, and this disaster's now requiring your attention, and you're not keeping up with finances, and you're not keeping up with social status, etc., etc. Anyway, you get it.
Yeah. Well, I think what's interesting is that when you're balanced, you're able to do really anything. So,
what does balance mean? Someone was talking. Was I talking about this with you or someone else?
Yeah.
What the heck is actually balance? Is it a real thing? Truly, is it a real thing?
Yeah.
I don't know that it is a real thing.
No, definitely a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, real thing.
Okay, what does it mean? What does balance mean?
So think of it like, so you could just think of it simply, your mind is thinking about problems, constantly thinking about problems. And then your heart is accepting whatever is. If you go towards your heart, you actually just become lazy. And you become so lazy that you'll stop eating, you'll stop everything.
Yeah.
And then you'll just fade away. That'll be the end. That's imbalance.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you're too much head, you'll constantly make everything into a problem. And you'll get so stressed out that the tiniest thing will set you off. So balance is where you can use your head and your heart together in balance. So you can still feed yourself, you can still wash yourself, you can still function in society. You don't take any of it seriously.
Yeah.
It's like play. It's like what little kids do.
Yeah, I got it. It's like stress. You have to have the optimum level of stress. All stress is not bad.
That's right.
All stress is not made equal.
Correct.
Stress that's sending you to the ER is bad stress, but we need to have a certain level of tension in our lives to propel us forward.
Yeah.
Even physical, it takes stress to pick myself up and walk. That's a type of stress. But hey, I'm walking. I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Balance is a real thing.
And you're saying balance.
It's real.
Heart and mind balance.
Yeah, heart and mind balance.
Yeah.
So, like I still post on social media. I mean, I'm running a podcast. I have to, right?
Yeah.
And but I'm happy to look at TikTok or whatever I'm looking at, but I don't really have a lot of interest. I'll look at it and I'll laugh at a couple of things, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to put this down. So I don't really have any interest in spending more than a minute, 2 minutes, 5 at the most, and then it's put away.
Yep.
And then I'm happy to pick it up again and have another look. Laugh at some things again.
Yeah.
And then put it back down again. Yeah. It does become an issue when you can't stop yourself.
Yeah.
As you brought up before, I'm bored. There's my phone. What's on YouTube or what's on TikTok or what's on, Facebook? I need to go and have a look. How's my profile doing? People looking at my last ad? If you're constantly trying to find yourself in what you post, and you're trying to, get a sense of worth out of, what you do, then, you can easily become imbalanced.
Yeah.
But if it's like, I'm putting myself out there, that's enough. If people see it, great. If they don't see it, that's okay too.
Yeah.
They need to see it. There's so much value in what you... I've had this conversation with Loretta in terms of the sound bath offering. what I found particularly beneficial was the chats before and after, as much as the sound bath.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The deep wisdom and counsel that you've provided as part of the therapy of the sound bath was equally important.
Oh, thank you.
And not everybody gives that.
I agree.
It's just like a yoga session most other places, where you go in, you get your nails painted sort of thing. Oh, I feel good. I've done something therapeutic for myself, and then you're out. But that's not this experience. And maybe you didn't intend it to be part wisdom, imparting wisdom and counsel, but that's what it's ended up being. A lot of the best conversations happen off air. And we were having a great one outside where Loretta was saying that, oh my God, it's just gone out of my head, was saying something about, oh my gosh.
The perspective of going from, Trish mentioned being on the yoga mat and picturing herself on the yoga mat and then being able to pan out and
see my physical being.
Yes.
And sort of going, well, it's, things aren't so serious, because it's like I'm out here, and I was saying before, love is all that matters. That's all we are. And so I'm constantly reminded of myself on the mat and reminding myself that nothing's that serious. It's all really just a game that we're playing. And, just that visual of me lying on the mat just, is a constant reminder. It's like, oh, I'm heading towards that place where I'm taking things far too seriously.
It gives you perspective. That really gives you perspective. I just remembered what it was. It's actually the debrief. So we always did a how you going before we get into the bath. And the interview afterwards was about really two things. It was about debriefing, but also embedding the new new protocol, the learnings. So I reckon you need to have both of those married as part of the offering there. Because you've just got the counsel, the wisdom, the calm that integrates what's happened in the sound bath. Don't you agree, girls?
Totally agree. Totally agree. And the fact that it was over 6 weeks, that it created a really healthy schedule or regimen to be able to reflect and not just see it as, for example, if you went to yoga and you just go and do yoga and you enjoy that workout and then back into life, and there's no need to reflect deeply about where you're at in your life. But the way that it was structured to force you to articulate prior how that last week was, go into the sound bath, then come out and be able to compare was a very instructive thing for me personally, to be able to take a bit of time to work through some of those issues that came up in the sound bath, and then compare the following week and then the following week. And I was diarising that as well, and it actually has taught me so much about what I was doing prior. And we've spoken about the 3-week pattern, but for me it was a definite paradigm shift that it taught me I had become stuck. I was repeating and repeating and repeating and not learning enough, and having to get that distance to look at myself doing that. And I wouldn't have come to that insight if it was just a continued meditation practice on my own. I think even having to, go into conversation over it, and even to have it recorded, because there's a level of consciousness going on that you're like, there were a few of those that I had to commit to. This needs to become part of my process. Just say those words on something that will be sitting on YouTube now. It goes deeper and it makes you think more broadly and deeply about how this is impacting my life.
Yeah.
What needs to change?
Yeah, it's more mindful. Yeah.
That's actually something I should have added, and we talked about that, is it's not just the sound bath and the counsel afterwards, it's actually the recording.
Yes.
And I should have known this because that's what I do, but I didn't get it, how important it is to actually have it recorded.
Yeah.
I think my first 3, I was so blissed out. It was very difficult to speak, let alone recall what we talked about. And there was so much wisdom in your counsel, but also interest in my own state and change of state that I could not see from the outside. It was very, very powerful and important to be able to go back to those recordings and watch my own state and how it had progressed or depressed in my case, because I was going through something. I could see myself quietly falling apart. But I couldn't remember a lot of, even during the interviews, it was so hard to ground myself because I was in such a altered state that it was really hard to break through this come back down and engage. So having that recording was a godsend. I could go back to it, and I've gone back to each one of your recordings and gained wisdom from it.
Definitely.
Integrated into my own experience, included that as part of my overall learnings, but I wouldn't have had that had it not been recorded.
Yeah, that's it. And I suppose it sort of makes perfect sense, because it's like when you're at school and the lecturer is going on and on and on, and you're just listening and you're just there, you're experiencing it, you're there, you're hearing it. Some of it's going in, most of it isn't. And then you know, different to someone recording and then you going back to it, or you writing down notes and then looking at them and reading them out loud. So it just becomes, you know, it just becomes so much more powerful.
What I found is, while I was taking it as best I could at the time, at other times since, because it's been a long time for me, it's been 5 months since I started, more than. Yeah. Now I'm more ready to hear certain bits of information.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I wouldn't have had that opportunity had it not been recorded.
Yes.
I'm ready now to understand and absorb and to act on, or even just appreciate some of the things that were experienced or taught, including your testimonies. But if it hadn't been there on YouTube, I couldn't have gone back to them to integrate them at the time that I was ready to integrate them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so was so reluctant to be on camera. So reluctant.
Yes.
So reluctant. Happy with audio. Love audio. Love it.
Yeah.
Cameras, oh God.
I remember,
but I'm really
too.
glad I did.
Yeah.
I would rather it just be a static image and no recording.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you let go of that and
it's
move,
part of the growth, right?
Yeah. And even you, if I can say, our first 2 or 3 interviews, you were pretty stiff, looking at the cameras, is it all working okay? You've really relaxed into the process of being an interviewer and a podcaster. I can see your growth in that aspect of your professionalism.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, it feels pretty comfortable. I feel pretty comfortable. Most of the time I feel pretty comfortable, I guess. So, what do you think? Should we go have a sound bath?
Are we having a sound bath?
Yeah.
Are we?
Are we?
Oh, is that what you were setting up?
I know. I thought that was what was going to happen. But
I did. Look what I've worn. I haven't.
That's okay.
You're going to have to get a blanket.
Yeah, we're going to blanket down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh my gosh.
Just go out with a bang.
Yeah, go out with a bang.
See what happens.
Oh, wow. It's a
Thank you. That's
a
good.
tandem.
Yeah.
Tandem. Sound bath. I so need it. Oh my God. I so need it. I really
There's
do.
another
This
blessing.
I've had this massive knot in my stomach for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's just going to get worse. So timing again. Yay.
It's
All
not going
right.
to get worse. That's what you've got to say. It's not going to get worse.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go.
Okay,
Let's go.
Right.
Imagine a moment carved out just for you, reclined in gentle stillness, as you are cradled by waves of pure, resonant tones, Tibetan singing bowls, gongs and chimes, weaving their magic. Each sound becomes a loving embrace, reaching into the deepest corners of your being, dissolving tension and inviting serenity. In this sacred space, the outside world melts away. The chatter of the mind quiets, replaced by the soft hum of harmony flowing through you. It's not just an escape, it's a homecoming, a reminder of your innate balance, strength and connection to the infinite. Here, relaxation is just the beginning. A sound bath is a radiant pause in life's rhythm, offering renewal, clarity and peace. Whether you're seeking a moment of stillness or a deeper connection to yourself, this is your time. Step through the doorway and let the whispers of the universe guide you back to your center. This is your invitation to realign, recharge, and remember the essence of who you are. Welcome back.
Yes.
How's everyone feeling?
I'm feeling chipper.
Yep.
I'm feeling happy.
That's good.
I'm feeling very happy.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And Shell?
Oh, here we go again.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You look blissed out.
Do I?
Yeah.
I do have heartache. The heartaches come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just repeat what I said before. Was I got the words that I know that you were trying your best. I know that you put your heart in and soul into something,
Yep.
but it was just stomped on, and that's where, it's crushed my heart.
Mhm.
It's really feels stomped on.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So part of the process, at least it's not in my stomach anymore.
Yes.
Moving upwards and hopefully outwards.
Yep.
Yeah. So mellow and heartache.
Mm-hmm.
That's the feeling.
Yeah.
But definitely more relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. It's probably a little bit like if you were to get a cut on your finger. It's going to throb for a bit.
Mm.
And then the throbbing's going to stop. And then you go back to knitting or whatever you do. Yeah. But you just need a bit of time to heal. Yeah. Process.
That I
The
do.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. We've all been there
Yeah.
and we'll continue to go there. Yeah, yeah.
In and out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't go through these processes, you don't stay on the planet for very long. It's just the way it is.
Mm.
So, just those issues, those little tests is what keeps you here. So, yeah. But it'll diminish. It'll diminish. So, or you'll process faster. You'll be like, oh, yeah, it was a bit painful. And then you'll be, oh, okay, move on.
Yeah.
So I'll move on from that now.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
I had some words come to me
Oh, yes.
after the gong, after
Yeah.
the rain and the thunder washed everything away, washed 2024 out of the way.
Yeah.
And the words were dunk your thoughts in light.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how lovely.
I know.
Oh, that's
So-
got to be on a car
Yeah.
sticker.
Yeah.
But it just kept repeating in my
Yeah.
head. It just after the gong thing.
Yeah.
So it was like, dunk your thoughts in light. I thought, oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
And then I started imagining, because our thoughts, a lot of them, because they feel sometimes filled with anxiety or
Yeah.
fear or just life in general, where we're going, where we're headed. It's almost like, they sort of become dark just on their own. So it's like take it out of the coffee cup and into the milk. I don't know, just this light.
Yes.
Just keep
And it's
saying
got the multiple meanings, light, lightening something
Yes.
physically, and then the actual light shining kind of.
Yeah, because our thoughts, the way I see it, is our thoughts are, they're not real. They're transient, and it's all perspective. So you could have a thought, but that doesn't mean that that thought is reality or is, you know, the absolute truth. A thought is just a belief that you keep repeating in your head. The more you repeat it, the more you think it's real. So from my perspective, it's like, well, you know, whatever you're thinking, you can turn it. If you dunk it in the light, you can turn it around and see something good.
Yeah.
Whatever it, for the most part, whatever it is, there's something good in it. You can turn it around.
Absolutely.
So dunk your thoughts in light.
Love it.
That's beautiful.
I will take that away because
Yeah.
You need
it
to
felt nice.
start a biscuit company.
Dunk your thoughts in milk. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, so it was
Suddenly
it's
want
very
biscuits.
Oh, well. After the
Yeah.
podcast.
straight there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I got out of today. I was just, really enjoying. The first part was all the thoughts of what we discussed earlier and, you know, all the different sounds and how they were meshing in and, you know, looking forward to the gong. Then the gong came, wiped everything out and then, start anew.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's never too late. You can always start new.
Exactly.
Every moment you can start new
Right.
because there's no time like the present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always get a second chance.
Yeah. And a third and a fourth and a fifth.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it just goes on.
Yeah.
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 It's all about expanding and becoming better
Yeah.
at life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to know that you can screw up multiple times.
Yeah. Exactly.
Back to the failure thing.
I don't know.
It's good.
It
It's
is.
good. Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
And Loretta.
I went through a bit of a gratitude practice, just a bit more prolonged than I did one a couple of sound baths ago. But this one, I've just focused on some individuals and had a real lot of thanks flowing with each time you did one of the gongs. I allowed the vibration to thank that person and and it just rolled on with that.
Yeah.
But you taught me this that mantra, the Om, which actually translates to I am.
Yes.
So at the end of the gratitude stuff, I just repeated I am, I am,
Yeah.
and allowed the reverberations each time you were doing a different gong sequence to go with that.
Yeah.
Just rolled with that for ages.
Yeah.
Didn't fall
great.
asleep, like I was
That's
saying, didn't
beautiful.
fall asleep this time, and just went with that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I stayed with.
That's beautiful.
Yes,
Very
that's
nice.
great. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely find the more you clear your system, the less likely you are to fall asleep.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just, you can hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably also depends on how much sleep you got the night before as well.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're a bit rattled, it's pretty easy to fall asleep.
Mm.
Yeah, it's hard to hang on with whatever it is, whatever thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you just get knocked out.
Mm.
Yeah, which is nice. Nice to fall asleep during a sound bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great.
And like we were talking about while we were still in the room, some of your vibrational work was different this time. It had some buzzing resonance, like a dragonfly buzz, which was really interesting to work with those with different thoughts. So
Yeah. I definitely find the different sounds are a little bit like cutting devices. They can cut through the thoughts. So you hear a certain sound, and it's especially like the gong. It's because it's so many different frequencies all at once. It sounds like, you know, an explosion of glitter, just or an ocean of sound.
I like that.
Yeah,
Explosion of glitter.
and some of the little tuning forks are more cutting, so they kind of clear up those niggling high kind of frequency thoughts. But yeah, and then you got the bowls, which are just so soft and smooth. Yeah, they're very comforting. So yeah, they're good. Yeah, it's good to have a collection of different sounds, working on attacking the thoughts from different angles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And then so how do you feel now compared to before you went in? Any shift?
For for me, it just reiterated the beautiful experience that I've had in the 6 weeks that I was doing a sound bath every week.
Yeah.
And just a reminder that, you know, you can do nice, good, positive things for yourself.
Yeah.
And this is one modality that can shift your perspective when you need it shifted.
Yes.
Yeah, in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I was really looking forward to it, and yeah. For good reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time I focused on the physical, how it actually felt, and on my face I could feel it just going deeper in relaxation. Across because I hold a lot of tension in my shoulders and my neck, and I could feel it just ironing out that. Like my shoulders would drop with each set that you went through. So I was sort of just being mindful of the physical impact of it this time. Previous ones I would drift away with other sort of headspace, other thoughts.
Yeah.
But this one definitely I could feel the whole face relax.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a benefit of the practice to become more in tune with your body rather than just in your head. You know, a lot of practices are all about just focus on your body, focus on your breathing. And, you know, it's like putting your feet either in a foot bath or walking on the sand or walking on pebbles. It really draws you into your feet. You feel every step. And it's very hard, especially if you go to, I think there's, down the Mornington Peninsula, there's a hot spring down there, and there's like a pebble walk. And the pebbles are different sizes. And it's hard to think while you're stepping on them.
So I'll just finish that one point just in saying that it did highlight where there was pain. And I've got a couple of teeth that need to be worked on. And it highlighted, those spots. So it's just another thing on the physical level, that's all.
And so has that impacted the way you feel, how your teeth feel now? Or
it showed me that I was holding tension. So I don't feel any of it now. So when you started, I could feel where the spots were. Very conscious of where those particular points are. So and after an hour's worth of what you've done, I can't pinpoint where it. I know which teeth they are, but I don't actually sense that dullness or the pain. Small amount of pain on them.
I guess it would be something like the more you focus on pain, the more irritating it gets, and the stronger the pain feels. Is that about right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then as you relax, then you go, oh yeah, there is a bit of pain there if I think about it, but
it's been smoothed out.
Anything else before we close?
Well, I just want to say thank you, the centre of my heart. It's been a wonderful experience, and it's highlighted a lot of things, and it's reiterated a lot of things. I've learnt a lot. It's been a great journey. I'm really thankful for yourself and for you as well, because you learn off each other as well.
Thank you. It's supported me through a really tough time without knowing it. So the synchronicity, thank you. And your generosity and your counsel.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming along, to all of you.
I still want to know what you want to learn from all of this. So this is an experiment for you. What have you learned in this process of watching us go through it?
Well, I guess judging from my own journey, it's interesting to watch other people and see if they have a similar journey. Because my journey wasn't through sound baths, it was more of an immediate onset, and it was powerful.
Onset, what do you mean by that? You mean spiritual awakening, I assume. That's not a term that people can relate to easily. So what did that look like for you?
It looked like
being more awake?
Actually, it felt like being stoned constantly. And
So that's what you've been trying to do to us.
Yeah. and it just came on. It just after reading a book, it just came on and got stronger and stronger. And it was very fascinating, and it never left. So it's just interesting. So from that experience, I knew I could, as the term is, open up a portal for someone else just by talking about this subject. And you'd start to see other people start to become quite, stoned or quite awakened. And but it wouldn't work for everyone. You know, some people were just not at the right time to be having those type of conversations. And so I started to think, well, I'm a musician, I should find whatever other tools are out there. And so sound baths came to my attention, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to give this a shot, and it was successful. So I wanted to see, what can I offer other people and try and get them to what I'm experiencing. And so that's my curiosity. How many sound baths do I need to give someone before they start experiencing some profound shift? Or if they're already having a profound shift and they are feeling, like they're getting beaten by life from time to time, or getting fatigued, getting into too much mischief, what will a sound bath do for them?
Yeah.
So for me, it's an ongoing experiment to see, because everyone's different as well. Everyone's at a different stage of their journey. So, it's fascinating to watch. Yeah. So I think 6 weeks is probably pretty good. It's pretty good.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And then from there, I think having an own personal practice. So you keep yourself, going. Yeah. Yeah. Because like anything, if you don't keep up a practice.
What you don't use, you lose.
Yeah.
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 I really
and you
liked...
can fall back into the old patterns.
Really liked what the two of you were talking about, I think in episode 6 of your podcast, your interviews, Loretta, where you talked about feeling grimy if you don't practice something on a regular basis. It can feel like not having had a shower for 3 days.
Yeah.
It can feel, for me, it's exercise. If I haven't exercised sufficiently for 3 days, there's that feeling of malaise, of rustiness. Yeah. And it completely corrects itself once I've been to the gym. But it's also, I have noticed when I get busy in the mornings and I think, right, I really need that extra time to check emails, or I do some household tasks before I start work, and I skip the prayer meditation practice, that hour of... Cause I'm not a morning person. I'm very slow to wake up. So that time, that hour, puts me into a slow movement forward. But if I skip it, I find that the next day or the day after that, I'm a little bit gritty. Just everything, my nerves feel a bit like sandpaper. Yeah? So what you were talking about really resonated with me in episode 6.
Yeah, you have a shorter temper. You feel a bit just, frustrated quickly over little things. Yeah.
That can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to practice. Good to do it every day. Yeah.
Curious about something that happened in the sound bath. I'm pretty sure that you came to my head.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes.
Did a bowl
Yes.
specifically over my head?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
What did you sense in order to do that? And did you do it with everybody?
I did it with everyone.
You did it with everyone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
why? Why did you do that? What did you sense? Because I'm pretty sure you haven't done that in
No.
any of my sound baths.
No. Yeah. So, if I was going to give you, say, a sound healing with a single bowl, that's what I would do.
Okay.
Yeah, and it would just be singing the bowl over certain all the chakra points of your body.
Okay.
Yeah. And for me, it's also a bit of an indication of where you're at. You know, like for Trish example, you know, when I got, if you don't touch someone but you get close to their forehead while they're asleep, they'll wake up. So about 12 to 6 inches. Yeah, because you just feel it. You know, someone's getting close to you and you just wake up. So to know where you're at, when I got close to Trish, she immediately moved.
Really?
Yeah. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So you weren't even aware that you moved?
I remember moving at certain stages, but I didn't
know why.
I didn't know why it was like it just it was like, oh, I'll need to
need to adjust.
Isn't that interesting that even with your eyes closed and we had a little eye thingy, that somewhere in you sensed a presence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that bowl come to my head at just the right time because I had a lot of trouble letting go of thoughts. Usually fairly early into the practice, my thoughts just go, take a hike. But it was very difficult this time.
Yep.
But when you did that bowl, there was a buzziness to it that jangled them out more effectively, as did the forks. Yeah. The gong, interestingly, didn't have as much effect on me. And it usually has that force, that wave that pushes out everything. But this time it didn't get out everything.
Yep.
But when you came in either before or just after with the tuning forks, that helped. And then the buzziness of the individual bowl over my head.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time when I'm doing it, I don't it's just intuition. So it's like I'll see a bowl and I'll play it. And from time to time I'll, you know, if I'm doing something melodic, I'll go, hey, these bowls work nice together.
Yeah.
And I'll do that. But I won't be analysing, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have a sequence in my mind that I follow. But, you know, from time to time I'll make mistakes and I go, oh, yeah, I must have meant to make that. And I let it go. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's also probably a little bit of the musician coming out of me.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, if you make a mistake while playing live, you don't go, oops.
Sorry, everyone.
You just go,
Let's start again.
just go, yeah, that was great. That was cool. I hope you enjoyed that.
It's also, you know, as a performing musician, you'd feel what your audience is, what's working for your audience.
Yeah.
And in this case, we were your audience.
That's
so
right.
You'd pick up a certain vibe about what we need
Yeah.
and move with that rather than stick to the routine.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there is some obvious things. You know, I could notice that you were doing a lot of moving. So I was
not
comfortable.
It was like electricity bolts going in and out of me.
Yeah.
Where I'd just suddenly twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're releasing. You're needing to release.
Yeah, it was definitely releasing. It happens more violently with the breath work that I've recently discovered.
Yeah.
Incredibly powerful and effective and healing, especially in my current situation. And the violence with which things move out and the amount of twitching and vibration is...
It's astounding.
It is astounding.
For just breath work. Who would have thought it would have that amount of power behind it?
Absolutely. But also with this, I was doing a fair bit of releasing through. It just feels like not that I've been struck by lightning before, but like a lightning bolt shocked me, and it just go,
yep.
There goes my arm, there goes my leg. Okay, radio, it's coming out.
Yeah.
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 Sorry if I disturbed you.
What? When?
Well, by twitching.
No,
I was right next to you.
I didn't feel it.
Oh, good.
No,
This is-
I was out.
I have a question for... This is the first time the three of us have been together, and I've never had a group sound bath, but I imagine that this would have been different from a group sound bath anyway, because we're really close together. You know, we're having the 9-year-old sleepover with all the girls kind of huddled in the same bed.
Like the sleeping bags all next to each other, no gap, and
How did it feel for you? Was it significantly different in any way?
No.
Yeah, no.
No, I was, totally peaceful in
Yes.
my little corner there. Yeah.
Didn't feel a difference. Heard a few little things, but didn't.
I was
it didn't
breathing,
impact.
I would take at different points where you used a certain bowl, there would be a resonance and a big deep breath, and then a deep out breath, and a further level of relaxation.
Yeah.
So that would have been audible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
But I can picture this work as part of a really lovely retreat.
Yeah.
If there was a group and that there was some breath work early on, not the heavy kind of breath work that was intense. It's a different sort of modality, but just you did some breath work practices before 2 of my sessions.
Yep.
And I felt they brought the whole experience to another depth, because coming out of the sound bath session, everything was more vivid. So I can imagine a really good retreat where you can do breath work, sound bath, come out of it and do some kind of practice out in nature.
Yeah.
And it would just be so therapeutic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I can already picture it.
Yeah.
So can I, actually.
Yeah.
I know exactly where to do it. I know exactly where to go. And I know the ocean to dip everybody into.
Well, if it's close to a little forest walk just before it, because I was saying to Trish, this idea of a sound bath walking into a forest bath into an ocean bath, you get that
Absolutely.
levels of sensory work going on. A day of that, what an
You'd never want to come out.
Washed clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
On a cellular level.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's all types of baths that you could incorporate with that. With the wind from the ocean and the water. And then you could have a little log fire.
Sauna.
Fire bath. Yeah, sauna.
Imagine
Sounds like a weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, well, sounds like something we should organise.
Yeah. I know exactly the place to go.
Fantastic.
So, I thank you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was very interesting, the timing of it, how it came, how it impacted my life and my husband's life. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. It always seems to hit just at right time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. Interesting thing. Yeah.
Did you have any
synchronicity is great.
particular hopes for us individually, or were you just watching the process with curiosity?
Mostly, I mean, there's always a hope that someone's going to have a lovely time.
Oh, I think we all did.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
Yeah. And then there's always the hope that a participant will then go on and start a practice or have a significant event where they'll go, I need to take care of, myself better. And so that's always the hope. I guess there's been plenty of times in my life where I've seen people struggle and you try and help them and they fall off the cart again. And it's like, okay, right, that's all right. We'll have to maybe go for a bigger ride next time. Yeah. Or you maybe need to have more mischief in your life to really, learn. So, Yeah. So there's not really an attachment to I need this outcome. I need this outcome. It's more, open curiosity, but there is a little bit of like, oh, it'd be nice if you get something out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tick, 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 I think.
So, yeah.
They say, I have heard a saying where it takes 7 cycles to move a pattern out of a person.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that 6, and this really is our 7th.
7th.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know, spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So we'll have to do a second follow-up.
No, it's
I definitely feel changed.
Yeah.
I think I could see watched all of yours, and there's such a dramatic shift in your presence and awareness, your clarity, intensity, self-awareness, centeredness, all of it.
I feel it day to day now.
Wow.
So it hasn't left me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because it was so intense just prior to it and on that very day
Yes.
that there was something very stark to compare it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, from full-on intensity to a sound bath,
Yeah.
it was day and night.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to explain what that was? 'Cause
if people haven't watched the previous sessions, my husband had a very serious heart event where he had to go to hospital, and he had, it was great care. Like it was that raced into theatre and all the heart doctors there sorting out what the issue was. But in that period, we didn't know how it was going to turn out. And it was on that very day that I had the sound bath. So while he was in theatre over in Box Hill, I came here.
Yeah, which I thought was incredible.
Which was amazing timing, because I came in very anxious and filled with worry and doubt and not sure what was ahead of us. And then to go through the sound bath and then to walk back into the hospital, it was a surreal experience.
Yeah.
And I felt fully alive. It felt golden. I had lost all the anxiety, and every experience I had, because, at all hospitals these days you've got to find a park, and even that's, hassle and stressful, and you've got to navigate through this labyrinth. But every person that I came across was glowing. All the interactions were golden. They were just a level of, for a hospital environment where everyone who's there is there for something serious, every interaction was lovely and had a touch of joy in it. And I've navigated through the wards and got to Rick and just thought, this is okay. This is all okay. So, to have that as an experience, if I hadn't have had the sound bath, I would have still been filled with anxiety, and I would have been dealing with the whole scenario in a very different manner. So it showed me how I could shift where I am in a certain headspace, and it showed me what was possible. And each sound bath after that then brought another level of awareness, how I had become stuck in a certain pattern. And it was all operating okay. Everything was still functioning, but there was a level of anxiety that I'd become used to, a level of heaviness that I hadn't even noticed was there. I was swimming in it without even being aware that I was swimming in it. So it broke that pattern, and it gave breathing space to reassess and see it for what it was. And that's why when Trishy said I could picture myself on the mat in the middle of the sound bath and get that broader perspective, that's what each week, 6 weeks, gave me a different perspective, broader and broader, and I snapped out of it. That old pattern, it gave that breathing space to see it for what it was and snap out of it. And I was asking for it. You say be careful what you ask for. Prior to it, I was saying, I don't want this. anxiety. I'm writing all these medical notes. You know, I have a high anxiety. I've got high cortisol. I've got blah blah, and needing to deal with it and get to the core of it. And it showed me that I was addicted to a certain pattern, day to day, of layer upon layer of anxiety, and I had created it. I need to shift this. And it shifted so many things around me. So that's what it did for me.
That's great.
The timing of it, that's how it worked for me.
Huge.
Yeah.
It is huge.
You know?
It is huge.
Yeah.
And such an intense, short period of time.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it's 6 months and I can see huge shift and change, and it's a rubbish feeling to go through. It's abusive and it's traumatic and it's yuck. But I didn't get it within that 6-week period of time. However, I can see that I've been supported over the worst part of the 6 weeks with the sound baths, and that I wanted a Venturi. I was ready for the Venturi to see what happens at the end of the 6 weeks, but I didn't get it at the end of the 6 weeks. The worst of it was just starting at the end of the 6 weeks. And like you, the timing was exacting. You on the same day, whereas I was in the sound bath literally the next day after the worst of it. And that was scheduled differently. We had about a 3-week hiatus, and we had to keep postponing because you were sick, and then the scheduling didn't work. And the timing that I needed that sound bath just after that event was like your event with the hospital. How the synchronicity work was extraordinary. But my Venturi is not really after the 6 weeks. It's more going into the 6 months, and I'm not out the other end yet. I've got more ahead of me, unfortunately. But keep positive. It's all for the learning and the development and the change, for the good, for the shifting, for the changing of the pattern, for the changing of the habit, to lift out of it and form a fresh path. It's just taking longer with me. What about you, Trish? You seemed pretty zen from the start.
Yes.
Trish is a pro.
Yeah.
I hope the camera picked that up. So with us, we were really looking for a pattern shift, but you just like, I'm going to get my nails done today. Just a little bit of a pamper. I'm already zen.
No, I think for me, what I'm hearing is what I'd already gone through earlier years, and I'd worked through that. So I've come out over the other side of it, and so now it's just picking at the little bits and pieces that are still sort of wagging their tail, and it's just like, the sound baths have come at a good time in the sense that, okay, so I wasn't totally, out of it, but it's just great for cleaning all that up. Yeah, for me it just feels like, this is all fun.
Yes.
It's been fun for me.
And I've seen that in your interviews. I've seen that it's been really light-hearted for you.
Yeah. I hope it didn't come across as me like, not giving it shit. But it really
didn't come across that way at all.
They were, sessions that I looked forward to because it was fun. It was like giving me that love,
Yes.
It's like, So I'm at the point now where I want life to be just fun, in the sense like not everything's going to be perfect, but always look for the fun, the joy, the love, the forgiving. So I'd been through years of things happening and dealing with it all, but just really truly understanding that forgiving is key to everything. Just forgiving yourself first, and then forgiving others and situations, and sending love out instead of sending anxiety and anger and resentment and all those kind of things. Just sending love out, and
Love
that's
that.
just it's so good.
Yes.
Because you really do, whatever you send out really does go back in. So it's like if you send out anger and resentment and all that those kind of things, it really does come back to you.
Yes.
So if you do the same the other way
Love it.
and really
Yep.
feel, and I'm not saying it's going to be easy. If you're in the middle of something that's not easy, it's not easy. So it's a matter of knowing, like having a certainty. Instead of like being unsure, you change that fear into certainty. I'm certain this is going to work out. I'm certain this is, it's just a journey for me that,
Yes.
I'm going to learn from, and so that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I think as you start to feel more and more bulletproof, you get into more mischief.
Yeah, true. And that's where you have to really sort of keep it simple. So keep it simple, stupid
Yeah.
is always a good. And the second you start sensing that, you sort of, these are the things that remind you of the fact that keep it simple, don't overcomplicate it, and you will get there. You will get there.
I feel like I do that anyway. I don't have any anger, resentment, bitterness in my heart about past situations, even current situation. But it hasn't really stopped situations from occurring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe perhaps that's the momentum of of the situation without knowing all the details. Sometimes you can be stuck in something, but you've got to work through the, nature will just give it to you. Like but you've got to work through those processes of, nutting things out, and that momentum that can carry forward. It's like a big snowball. If you've been travelling that journey for a while, the snowball is pretty big.
Yeah.
Until it hits the wall, and then something can just
Smash through.
Yeah.
Like a gong.
Yeah, like a gong.
Yeah.
That's it.
I guess a way to think of it is that we're always building habits.
Yeah, you mentioned that in one or two of the other podcasts. And you're always clearing habits.
Always clearing habits. So what keeps you here is your habits. But if you don't clear your habits, you get stuck here. So if you want to stay here, you need to keep some habits, but you don't want the habits to make you a prisoner. So it's just that you don't always see your habits until you essentially have a breakdown. And then you go, oh, whoops.
Yeah, I've been doing that again.
Yeah. And then you'll clear that one. And then another habit will rise up. And we have lots and lots, thousands, probably millions of habits.
Yeah.
You just need to keep clearing them, and then eventually you'll get so good that you'll only have, maybe 10 habits. and then just when you decide to leave the planet, you'll drop those too. But just remember that, the habits that you hold are not bad. They're just keeping you here. And it's good to clear them, but they're not to be,
It's not shameful.
not shameful, yeah. Because, it's what keeps you here. Yeah. It's like a physical body. So, habits, they're okay. Just don't have too many. Don't have ones that hold you prisoner. Yeah. And then the ride will get a lot easier. But it's the same for all of us, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Definitely.
Really is.
Yeah.
So, Wow.
So what's next for you, Matt?
Well,
are you still podcasting?
Yeah, the next season will be actually just sound baths. Yeah, so I'll do a series of sound baths and invite in other musicians to guest.
Oh.
So, yeah. So that's the loose plan at the moment. We'll see how it goes.
I have a thought about that. I know that Loretta said this, the sound bath that you have on YouTube, which is just the music.
Yes.
It's got lots of views.
Yeah.
beautiful and authentic to what we've all experienced at one time or another.
Yeah.
But the physicality of the vibration through my skin. It's the difference of hearing a wave or being on a sailboat and feeling it rock me.
That's right.
It's like a baby. You can sing a lullaby to it, but it wants to be in the car and it wants to feel the vibration of the car to soothe it asleep.
That's right.
There really isn't any comparison. You can put your headphones on, you can put your earbuds in, you can pop whatever you've got on in the house and play that beautiful sequence that you have.
Yeah.
But even with the loudest speakers, there isn't, it doesn't touch what happens when you're lying there, and the bowls, their physicality is interconnecting and sliding into my physicality. That vibration is what actually heals me, not the tune of it.
No, that's right.
Not the melody of it.
No, that's right.
The melody's pleasant. The sound is pleasant, but the vibration, I think I put it this way, it's in one of my interviews, it's like all my aunties ganged up on me and gave me the group hug.
Yes.
Now you can't get that sonically, and you can't get that visually.
Yeah.
You can only get it through the physical body and being in the presence of those bowls. One other thing, I did notice the difference in the positioning of the bowl and the effect it had on me.
Absolutely.
So today, because there were three of us squished in there, all the bowls were behind us at our head level.
Correct.
When I've experienced the bowls all around me, and particularly when there's been one bowl in the middle of my calves, that's such a powerful vibrational experience and healing experience, because it's surrounding me, it's group hugging me, and then the one between my legs, because it's actually touching through the blankets or very, very close, that vibration just zooms right up you. It's its own kind of gong, but from a different position. There is just no substitute for being present with the bowls.
Yeah, the bowls are...
What do you think, girls?
Yeah, totally, 100%. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a massage table that I stuck some woofers to, speakers.
How did that work out?
Yeah, that works pretty well. So
how did that... You put somebody on, or did you put yourself on the massage table?
So what I've done is I've got sub-frequency woofers, which are speakers, and you stick them underneath the massage table, and then the vibrations go through the massage table.
Yes.
So it's pretty good.
You lay on the massage table and gave yourself a vibrational overload.
Yeah.
How did you feel afterwards? Did it work for you?
Oh, yeah, it definitely works. Yeah, it's great.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So maybe at least one of these podcasts I'll pull that out and do a demonstration.
Oh, that'll be hilarious. I'm going to see that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really good. And that's something that anyone can have in their home. If they've got a massage table, you just get little... Essentially, those speakers were designed for video games, so that when people want to feel the actual video game...
Cough.
Yep.
Yes.
That's okay.
Excuse me.
So, yeah, if you want to experience the video game on a physical level, you just put these speakers on your chair.
Right.
And then you can feel, whatever the video game sound is. Yeah. So, different experience. Probably a bit more violent experience. But, yeah, as a massage table, as a therapy, it's wonderful. In fact, there's a story of a guy who in America had one of these chairs with these speakers attached, and he would be listening to, I think it was either the police or the fire brigade radio to try and find someone who was about to end their life, and he would drive out there and see if he could coax them to sit on the chair.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, I think he's still doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is this in Australia?
Oh, I love
No,
that.
in America, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only recall the story. I don't
Did he
know.
ever get anybody to come and sit on the chair?
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, I'm sure
They changed their
they
mind?
changed their mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's yeah. I mean, when you think about it, that's a pretty high intense moment. And if they change their mind, then there would be no going back. They would be like, okay, yeah,
Jeez,
all right.
I could definitely see the power in it, the
Yeah.
possibilities.
Yeah.
But the therapeutic possibilities have been there. They're ancient.
Yeah.
They've been doing it.
Thousands and thousands
as you
and
know,
thousands
as
of
you know.
years.
I
Yeah.
found that podcast really interesting about the
Maltese temples.
and it's all sound based.
Yes.
We look at this practice as something newfangled, but it's ancient.
Yeah, no, it's ancient.
Yes.
Mm.
It's about time it came back.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's probably a lot of things that we've kind of pushed aside thinking, oh, yeah, this new is better. Yeah. It's in a pill.
In a pill.
Yeah, so much easier. I can take a
Now there's a
you know,
thought.
like a
How do
whole
you
lot
get
of
a
pills.
vibration into a pill?
Well, you can have a tuning fork.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You can. When I was in the sound bath, one of the bowls had a very deep tone to it. It did make me think about hundreds of years ago. Actually, not even hundreds of years ago. It wasn't that long ago that the churches had big bells, bell towers.
Bell
Yes.
They were a thing, and that was to call in the followers. And the resonance of such a big article, such a big bowl just inverted really, and gonging it and gonging it and to draw people in.
And then all the musicians of the town tune their instruments to the bell.
Did they?
Yeah.
No joke.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you think about it. If you want the community to be in tune with one another.
Yes.
In tune.
Yeah.
It would be in a type of entrainment, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of spooky.
No, it's good.
Wow.
It's good. Yeah, yeah.
To be in tune.
Yeah.
Okay, just diverting off a little bit. Your perception, I'm just interested in your perception of our society. We're in Melbourne. Are we out of tune with each other? You're such an in-tune person. You're a musician. You do sound healing. You're very tuned into how people feel. Are we out of tune with each other?
Yeah, 100%. Well, there's a lot of people totally freaked out. Yeah, totally freaked out. And, you know, the people that would even say, I'm not freaked out, they're totally freaked out.
Maybe we need a great big gong.
Yeah.
The whole of Melbourne. One massive church bell.
We need everyone walking around with a bowl over their head.
Yeah.
And Matt in one suburb far away going bong, and we all go and become entrained in a beautiful healing way.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Slowly.
I'm being silly.
Slowly. No, it's good. It's good. Yeah. It's just the way it is the way to end suffering. Is that the unfortunate thing is you have to first suffer. It's the only way you can end it, because you've got to become aware. Oh yeah, I'm suffering.
What do you perceive as the reason why we're so out of tune? Why we're so freaked out with each other?
Yeah, it's just a part of our evolution. It's just where we're at the moment.
Where we're at the moment.
You know, like you got to think, right up to this point, the mind has been really good. It's got us out of a lot of strife. You know, we've built cities. We've made most of our existence pretty peaceful.
Yeah,
we're pretty. You know, like we don't have people, you know, going into towns and killing the whole township, and we don't have Vikings.
Not in Australia.
Yeah. But once upon a time, that was a real thing, and you'd have to.
A real thing.
Yeah, you'd have to build houses underground, and you'd have to disguise fortresses. And if you wanted to live in the fortress, then you have to obey the rules. I mean, we still do that here, but it's a lot better. It's a lot better. And so now we've just reached a point where we're doing pretty good, but we've got a lot of anxiety now that is not needed.
Yeah.
So we need to go to the next level.
A lot of fear.
Yeah, a lot of fear. And it's, like the fear was probably a driving factor to build cities and, and armies and things like that, and weapons and all the madness. And now we've taken it too far, as we do with everything. We take things too far. And now we're like, we've gone too far.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tell you what. Dismantle the bombs, or, dismantle certain aspects that really don't serve us anymore. And, I'm sure there'd be, people are still going to hang on to their armour because they don't feel safe enough yet. And unfortunately, they just need to keep going a little bit further until they go, you know what, I've gone too far.
Yeah.
So you can't get everyone to do that all at once. It's just not possible. And you just look at, people of different ages. You definitely, you get the, my folks' age group, 80s and above. They're gone through a different way. World War II and whatnot, so their anxiety level is way up. And, but then you've got kids who are, I'm not suffering, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I feel great. So you can't push this type of thing onto people because it doesn't help. If I tried to push it onto my folks, they'd be like, I'm sorry, you've joined a cult.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you try to push it onto your kids, they'd be like, you're a weirdo.
You're a big delulu.
Yeah. So you just have to allow people to do their thing until they find their way. Yeah, and that's okay. It's just a part of it. I'm sure if someone had to come to me with this 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that seems pretty interesting, but probably not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just the way it is. So, don't know if that gives you a great answer, but an answer enough.
Thank you for answering it.
No worries.
Alrighty.
Yeah, fantastic. Well,
wow.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
And thank you also to Trish and Loretta, because I learned so much from your journeys as well.
Yeah, it's been
Likewise.
great.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you're welcome to come back for a sand bath anytime you wish.
I'm missing the dandelion chais.
Or a dandelion chai.
Yep. Thank you.
Fantastic.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
See you again soon.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today. This has been a fascinating exploration of sound baths. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Join us again next week as we explore the world of sound baths. Until next time, stay well and keep exploring new experiences.